Hey, it's Steven at Goodie Goodie, and I'm making the world's best chocolate chip cookies. And I'm not kidding. At Goodie Goodie, we make these amazing, huge New York style cookies that are really thick and crisp on the outside, gooey on the inside. These are not those. These are cookies you make at home when you want some cookies for your family, and they're quick and easy, as our title of our video series is called. So here I'm starting with some butter and creaming it by hand. You actually don't have to do this, but it does need to be at room temperature for it to mix really well with the other ingredients. And this is looking pretty good. That looks fine. And I'm still mixing. Okay. And adding some sugar. It's granulated sugar and some brown sugar that's loosely packed. Mixing it together until it's kind of a smooth mixture. I just use this technique where I kind of cut in with the wooden spoon. With the edge of the wooden spoon actually works the best, and then you can stir it a little bit as well. But we'll get it to the point where it's pretty smooth, and we can move on from there. So, there's some salt, some vanilla extract, and a couple of eggs. And now we start mixing again. People that don't like to mix things shouldn't bake anything. It seems to be a very big part of the process. Well, I love it. There's nothing better than taking something that's kind of rough and chunky, and then you keep stirring it, and it turns into this really beautiful, smooth mixture. And you'll see it here. Like, eventually we'll get to that point with this. You can do this with a mixer, and most people would do that. But look how smooth that is. It's great. And then we're going to wreck it by adding flour. So we add about half the flour and mix that in. Now, the thing with a cookie dough, the idea is to keep it fairly thick and chunky. You don't want it to be overmixed. That's probably the worst thing you could do with a cookie recipe. So you'll see I'll arrive at something that's pretty thick, and then we add more flour, the remaining flour, and it makes it even thicker. Just want to get rid of that extra flour in the bowl so that it's mixed in. That looks good. Now the rest of the flour. So these are what we make at our house when we want chocolate chip cookies. And my wife wanted 24 cookies for some reason, and so that's what I made here, and the recipe is for 24. If you want less, if you only want a dozen, just cut the recipe in half. It'll be fine. Okay, so that's pretty chunky. The dough is not really super smooth and silky. And then it gets when you add the chocolate chips, and these are a lot of chocolate chips. Some people would do a lot less. I like it with lots of chocolate chips, and this is a number that we're asked for in the recipe, so I've just included that in our recipe. Again, this will make 24 cookies, and fairly large cookies. Now, even though that looked pretty thick, you form it into balls by hand, and it's actually a little bit on the gooey side. It almost felt to me like it could be drier, but it works out fine, and you'll see. Now, those balls are these are about 45 to 50 grams, something like that. It doesn't have to be too exact, but you have to space them out about 3 inches because they spread out when they bake. So here they are in the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes. These were done for 10 minutes, and this is what we got. They're actually slightly probably underbaked, but I kind of like them like that. If you bake them a little more, they'll be a little bit brown on the edge. And look at those cookies. They are amazing. Here's an inside shot. Look at that gooey chocolate filling. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.